Carson Hocevar isn't interested in fitting the mold of a polished, corporate-friendly NASCAR driver. At just 21 years old, he has already established himself as one of the sport's most aggressive and polarizing competitors. His racing style is relentless, his willingness to make daring moves undeniable, and his ability to anger veterans almost inevitable. But while some see him as reckless, others believe he is exactly what the sport needs: an unfiltered, fearless competitor willing to shake things up. His second-place finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway should have been a crowning achievement. Instead, it was overshadowed by criticism from veterans who took issue with his tactics. Kyle Busch didn't hold back, stating over the radio, "I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him." Ryan Blaney was similarly frustrated, saying, "He's just all over the place." But Hocevar isn't backing down. His response to criticism has been clear. He's here to win, not make friends. "We're here to win races, not be a boy band and love each other and play on the playground together," Hocevar said. As NASCAR debates his approach, one thing is clear: Carson Hocevar refuses to change. Atlanta Motor Speedway saw one of Hocevar's strongest performances, but it didn't come without controversy. He battled at the front of the pack, aggressively defending his position and making bold moves that drew the ire of some of the sport's biggest names. While his talent was undeniable, his tactics were under scrutiny almost immediately. Kyle Busch, never one to hold back, was livid on his radio. "Go tell that 77 that he's done that same move 10 times, Busch said. "I don't care if I wreck the whole field. I'm over him." His frustration stemmed from repeated blocks and side drafting moves that disrupted the race's rhythm. Ryan Blaney, who also found himself in Hocevar's path, expressed similar irritation. "He's just all over the place," Blaney said post-race. Other drivers echoed the sentiment, with many suggesting that Hocevar's aggressive style was unsustainable at the Cup level. Despite the backlash, Hocevar's supporters saw the race differently. They viewed his performance as fearless, a necessary style for a young driver fighting to prove himself. Whether he is a future star or a ticking time bomb remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Hocevar made Atlanta impossible to ignore. If Hocevar's critics thought he would back down after the Atlanta controversy, they were mistaken. Instead of offering an apology or reconsidering his approach, Hocevar made it clear that he had no intention of changing his racing style to appease his competitors. "I get it. Guys don't like when someone new comes in and races them hard," Hocevar said after the race. "But that's my job. I didn't come here to pull over and let them have their way." His response sent a clear message. He wasn't about to tone things down to make others comfortable. Some drivers believe that respect on the track must be earned gradually, through clean racing and strategic decision-making. Hocevar has chosen a different path, one that forces his competitors to acknowledge his presence whether they like it or not. The backlash from veterans like Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney wasn't surprising, but what did catch attention was the level of support Hocevar received from fans and some younger drivers. Many argued that NASCAR has become too politically correct, and Hocevar's aggressive approach was bringing back an edge the sport needed. Fans took to social media to share their thoughts. "This sport needs drivers like Hocevar," one user posted. "NASCAR has gotten too soft." Others, however, warned that his approach was dangerous. "He's going to get wrecked soon. You can't race like that and not expect payback." Veteran drivers remain skeptical. Denny Hamlin, who has had his share of run-ins with aggressive young drivers, offered a more measured take. "You can race hard and still race smart," Hamlin said. "The best drivers know how to push without crossing the line." For now, Hocevar seems unfazed. He's not out to win popularity contests. He's out to win races. Whether that approach earns him long-term respect or a target on his back remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable: Carson Hocevar is making waves in a way few young drivers ever have. Hocevar's aggressive style didn't develop overnight. It's been his identity since he first strapped into a race car. Coming up through the ranks, he built his reputation in the NASCAR Truck Series, where he became known for pushing limits and refusing to back down from any challenge. In 2022, Hocevar was involved in multiple controversial incidents, including a dramatic last-lap crash at Darlington. While some labeled him reckless, Others saw a young driver who was willing to take risks to make a name for himself. "I've always raced hard," Hocevar said. "It's how I got here, and it's how I'm going to stay here." His aggressive driving style continued into the Xfinity Series, where he made headlines for daring moves that either ended in triumph or frustration. NASCAR analysts began drawing comparisons to past hard-nosed racers such as Tony Stewart and even Dale Earnhardt Sr., who earned their reputations through fearless racing. By the time he reached the Cup Series, Hocevar had already developed a following. Fans saw him as a driver who wasn't afraid to challenge the established names. However, with that respect also came skepticism from veterans who had been on the receiving end of his aggressive tactics. Some questioned whether he could adjust his style to survive in the Cup Series, where patience and consistency are just as crucial as aggression. Despite the criticism, Hocevar has remained unapologetic about his approach. "You don't make it in this sport by playing it safe," he said. "You make it by proving you belong." The debate over Hocevar's racing style continues. While some see him as a future star who will redefine NASCAR's next generation, others believe he must find a way to balance aggression with calculated racing. One thing is certain, Hocevar isn't changing for anyone, and his journey is far from over. As Hocevar's career moves forward, the biggest question remains: can he find long-term success while maintaining his aggressive style? Some drivers, like Ross Chastain, have managed to balance aggression with calculated moves, while others have struggled to adapt and faded into obscurity. NASCAR is a sport that values both aggression and intelligence. Hocevar has proven he belongs on raw talent alone, but his ability to evolve as a driver may determine his ultimate success. "There's a fine line between being aggressive and being reckless," Jeff Gordon once said about young drivers. "You have to know when to push and when to back off." For Hocevar, the challenge will be earning the respect of his competitors without sacrificing his hard-nosed style. If he can strike that balance, he could be a future star in NASCAR. If not, the growing list of drivers frustrated with him may make sure he doesn't last long. What do you think? Will Carson Hocevar's aggressive style take him to championship glory, or will it lead to his downfall? Let us know in the comments and stay tuned for more NASCAR updates.